Personal growth begins when you realize that your life isn't going where you want it to, but you still decide to stop for a moment and really listen to yourself. Sometimes you wake up tired, confused, with the feeling that the day is already heavier than you are, and you don't know where to really start again. The routine repeats itself identically every day, as if you were walking inside a loop that never changes, even if inside you long for something different. Many times you avoid facing what scares you, because growing up requires the courage to look inside yourself without filters. You stand still waiting for things to change on their own, but nothing changes until you decide to take the first step. How many times have you put off making an important decision simply because you didn't feel ready, even though you knew the perfect moment would never come? You realize that motivation isn't enough because it disappears in an instant. What you really need is discipline, even when you don't feel like it. Negative thoughts often come back and make you believe that you will never improve, but that is precisely where the real work on yourself begins. Every decision you make, even the smallest one, shapes the person you will become in the coming months without you even realizing it. You feel the weight of your habits because what you do every day becomes your identity, for better or worse. Your mind often blocks you more than reality because it tells you stories that aren't true, but seem real. Have you ever felt trapped in your own thoughts, as if every step forward was immediately pulled back by yourself? You often confuse failures with your identity, when in reality, every mistake is just a step towards a better version of yourself. You feel like you're behind everyone else, but everyone grows at their own pace. Life isn't a race, it's a personal journey. Growth doesn't come suddenly. It comes slowly, day after day, while no one is watching and no one is applauding. And when you finally understand that no one will come to save you, then you discover the strength you've always had inside you. Marco decides to start with a small change, without waiting for motivation, a simple gesture that breaks the old habit. What small gesture could you make today to change the pace of your life, even if it seems insignificant? He tidies up his room because tidying up outside helps him tidy up inside his head, too. He wakes up a little earlier than usual to dedicate some time to himself before the world notices him. Walk outdoors, breathing deeply, letting go of what you don't control, and focusing. He writes down 3 simple goals because he knows that clarity helps the mind not to get lost in useless thoughts. It reduces distractions, because it knows that growth requires attention, and attention requires space. When was the last time you gave your mind a moment of silence, without noise, without screens, without distractions? He often falls back into old habits, but instead of giving up, he starts again, understanding that consistency is worth more than perfection. Accept that growth isn't linear. Some days you move forward, some days you step back, but the only thing that matters is keeping going. Begin to see invisible results: calmer, more clear-headed, more mental strength. He understands that discipline is not a punishment, but an act of love towards his future self. Every morning he feels the change growing inside him, like a seed finally finding space to sprout. How different would you be in 6 months if you actually started today, without excuses, without waiting any longer? His choices become more conscious, because now he knows that every action builds his future. She begins to trust her decisions, because she finally feels like she has some control over her life. Marco now wakes up with more energy because he has chosen a pace that supports his growth instead of slowing it down. His room is tidy and bright, reflecting the calm he finally feels inside. In the gym, he moves with confidence because every effort brings him closer to the version he wants to become. When was the last time you did something just to improve yourself, without expecting an immediate result? In the kitchen, she prepares better meals because she has understood that the body supports the mind and the mind supports life. He works with more focus and fewer distractions because now he knows what really matters. He learned to use the phone instead of letting it use him, and it gave him back his time and energy. A person walking in the city with a determined step, realistic style, and smiling. He feels a new freedom because discipline has given him space to choose who to be. If you could truly change your life, where would you start? What's the first step you haven't had the courage to take yet? Relationships improve because it now brings calm instead of chaos, stability instead of uncertainty. He knows the road won't always be easy, but now he has the tools to never get lost again. Every day he adds a gesture that strengthens his identity, building the version of himself he had always wanted to be. She understood that growing up doesn't mean changing everything at once, but changing something every day with consistency and patience. Marco made it because he really started.